Let's see, we have all 7 members present, so out of our 8 allocated seats. So we have a quorum, and I will call the meeting to order. I'll just do a little intro before we get into the regular business. At the last meeting, I said bring in the trail guide, so what's going around there. That is a publication from the combination of Bolton Trails and Bolton Conservation Trust that they put out. I don't think they update it every year, but that's 2026. That's the latest version of it. One interesting note on it, on the front cover of it this year, Steph and I at the end of last year installed 6 bridges and 200 feet of fiberglass boardwalk over there in late November and December. And so on the cover there is the first one we put in, which is a 20-foot bridge in Bond Hills.
Oh, that's neat. Your handiwork.
But it's quite a document, something for us to possibly think about if we want to do anything like that. So that's the only significance of that.
That looks chock full of information. This,
Yeah.
maybe, do they do it every other 2 years or something?
Yeah, they've got quite a system over there relative to their trails. They use, there's a trail app for your phone, I forget what the name of it is, where people can go on and just log any issues with the trails, and it's specific to whatever town, so you can get the app tuned into a particular town. And then, so it's really easy for somebody to take a picture and then forward that to the appropriate people, which in this case would go to the Bolton Trails.
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
So
And then,
the-
you'd recognize immediately what, if it was one of the bridges or something.
All right,
There's a trail in the Zinc Pig Farm.
Huh?
There's a trail in the Zinc Pig Farm.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been over there. Pigs going in and out of the house.
Oh, they used to be running up and down the street when we lived there.
All right, minutes from let's start with the minutes from the last meeting. Rick sent those around. Comments, corrections, omissions, anything from anybody?
Todd
I looked at it
had
and
some,
what?
Todd had some that I made and sent a revised version around later today, so.
Do I hear a motion to accept as edited, as updated?
Yep.
Oh, I make a motion to accept as updated.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded to accept as updated. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain. I was not present.
Okay.
That was on the notes. No, I'm just kidding.
It is.
He was absent.
Treasurer's report?
Okay, not much going on that I know about. Open space donation is currently at $174.54, $174.54. Because Mr. Hawley, did the check ever show up, then you're all set, right?
Yes, it was delivered to one of my neighbors who was,
Who was on vacation.
so I didn't get it for another week and a half or so.
Okay.
I do have it now.
So
Thank you.
it sounds like there were balls dropped several along the path, but eventually it did show up. So, oh boy.
Was the address on it wrong?
No,
The numbers?
Oh, no.
No, just on
no, the day,
It was the stories.
it's been a tough winter for mail delivery. I mean,
Just some practical
a lot of
things.
snow and cold. It's
Yeah.
hard, it's a hard job.
Anyway, so it did arrive. So the balance then is $174.54, but money well spent for that tree, certainly. The rider is static, $4,125.32, because we have total access to that. I did request the current Hubbardston Trust balance to Mary. In full disclosure, that was only, I think, on Monday, and today is, no, maybe it was Tuesday. So I didn't give her a lot of notice, because she's doing an assistant accountant temporarily, so somebody's minding the store, at least. But she didn't get back to me. So I'm going to stop by. It's hard to say no if somebody's looking right at you, right? Sorry, Mary, but I needed my number. She listens to this. But it was $18,223.67. But that was the last formal numbers I got were on 9/2/2025. So there's a whole quarter that doesn't show, and there should be more interest in there. I don't know if Parks and Rec took anything out. There was $1,000 out of it at some point, maybe something, I don't know what for, because I don't have access to them.
Susan, which Mary are you referring to?
Mary, who was the tax lady, is now doing a temporary stint as accountant, right?
Accountant or treasurer?
She was the treasurer.
Yeah, she was, right, but that's not the accountant. Now she's doing
I
an
am.
accountant job.
Yes, I understand.
So what was your question?
Oh, well, I think we were talking about the same Mary then, because she's resigned and accepted a position in Paxton,
Yeah.
and she's just doing,
In
to help
between.
turn,
Right.
yes, and
But her role has changed, is my understanding.
also.
Yes. I read that
She's
somewhere.
doing what she can to help us, the town.
Yes,
That
because
means-
she has some context that,
Right.
right. So,
And we brought on the new tax collector. She's on board,
okay.
Elizabeth. I didn't remember her name,
Oh.
good. And Sarah, the assistant tax collector, or whatever.
Rush or Sarah, somebody like that?
Sarah,
Yeah.
well, anyhow, the one that sits out front behind the glass, she also resigned. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that there's a lot of stuff that will be challenging to get, just because of time required to do
Yes,
all
but
this
if you
stuff.
have an account number and you're only looking for one set of numbers,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
just, you know,
But
so.
when the basket's overflowing,
Oh, I know,
you know?
I know, I get it, yeah. Oh, and with the, I'm done with that. If, we don't approve that per se, but we're just, we know those numbers. So with the permission of the chair, may I do a quick advertisement?
Absolutely.
It's for a nonprofit. Okay. Black History Month is February coming up, and the Lancaster Historical Society has a wonderful program of singing, poetry, historic anecdotes at the Bullfinch Church in Lancaster on February 8th at 2 o'clock. And if you're not into singing, poetry, and anecdotes, you might be into architecture, because the reverend that was there for 20 years, the Reverend Tom Wintle, will be giving a tour of the church 45 minutes before the concert. So a lot of people in Lancaster, if they're not members of that church, they've never been in there. It's beautiful. It's one of the few Bullfinch buildings.
What is that? Is that right on the common there?
It's right, yeah, it's church, library, and then the old town hall and the new town hall. So I will start with him, and you can just, even if you don't want to do the concert, just come and see take a tour. Anyway, end of ad.
Okay.
But there's more coming. Lucy Stone in April, the suffragist, so there's
right.
always
We
good
have a
stuff.
date for that, right?
Yes,
You wanna
April
say when?
26th, but
Okay.
she was here in Hubbardston last spring. Did you guys get to that
No,
one?
but I've
It was
heard
wonderful.
it's really
Oh, you learned so much, yeah.
No,
Okay.
she's really good, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Any updates on Hubbardston Hikes?
Well, January 19th is Martin Luther King Day, and I thought especially after the death of Renee Good yesterday in Minneapolis, it'd be good to do a hike on that day, acknowledging her life. One of the things that Martin Luther King said when he was in jail was, "We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, it must be demanded by the oppressed." So, January 19th tentatively is the next hike, probably at Malone, because that's the only place that's plowed.
Oh, for parking.
Yeah, for parking.
So you're going to have a walk on the 19th at Malone then, right?
Yes.
Mike, you might know this. Is EQLT having some kind of a hike on the 19th? Does that ring a bell?
Doesn't ring a bell, but I can check really fast.
I don't want to
Sure.
hold up things.
Sure, no, I'll, yep, just keep
They
going.
have so many activities, you can't keep up with it, I mean, for kids, for everything, yeah. I mean, they're all good, but,
All right. I have those placeholders on there for Gates, invoices at Gates Hill, Gates Foundation, et cetera. There's no update on those. The land prioritization group, Matt, hey, how about that? So Tim, Rick, and I met on Tuesday, and the short version is just getting started after a little bit of hiatus, mostly due to me getting all tied up with the property sale in Bolton. The major action coming out of that was to contact Anna Wilkins. I got a note off to her today about getting back together. When we last left that situation, the activity recommended by Anna was to have that open citizens meeting at the senior center, which we did have. And then now we're going to start to get back together in pursuit of some land acquisition activities. So that's where that's at. And I haven't heard back from Anna on that. I just sent her the note today, but it's good to get that ball rolling again. Relative to Mass Trail Grant / Dottie Athens sign, I've contacted Jassy. I haven't heard back from her yet. She's got a good history of all that, and so I had asked her to just do the core of what would be good to put on that sign, since given that it's a reasonable size sign, there can be a number of words on that, similar to what was presented at the grand opening of that trail. The trails maintenance projects, signs, we got the wood.
I need to drive it over to Katie.
All right.
And Bob, before we, one more thing on the Mass Trail Grant.
Okay.
I'm still waiting to hear from Mark on how much is going to be left from that grant and going into the coming year.
Yeah, and I meant to send him a note. I'll make another note on that.
Well, he's getting the signs done for Malone, and so he has to pay for that first.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left.
Yeah.
He'll be letting us know what's left in that grant, and then the other thing would be, once I get that, I'll also be contacting the Mass Trails to see that there's a lot. He mentioned that, at one point that after all the projects are done, there's often money left over, and you can resubmit requests for any of that money that's left. So at the same time, I'll be doing that.
where's that sitting right now? With the town, or still with the grant?
Sitting, where's the money
The money,
sitting?
yeah. Is it?
That's a good question.
No, the state has it, the grants are
Yeah,
reimbursement.
yeah.
So
So
the
our
town
part was,
spends whatever the town spends for the project and then gets reimbursed by the state.
okay, because all we did was 10, to last fiscal year '24, I believe.
Yeah, that part was spent, that was town money.
Yeah, oh, okay.
We're
Yeah,
talking
so,
about the grant.
okay, so he'll be sending invoices to some other
Yes.
place.
No,
Good.
I don't think so.
No?
I think the town pays
Is-
the project. the
Oh, and they get
$88,000,
reimbursed
And the
then?
grant reimburses the town.
Okay, well, he knows
Oh,
where to find
okay.
me if, and I need to find how we do this new warrant and then hand deliver it. I'm sorry, it's just, okay. Well, when the time comes, we'll figure it out. That question, I don't want to deflect everybody, sorry. What's next?
On the, on that Eagle Scout project for Matty Slaughter, the vast majority of that is done. Did we have any costs or something on the blazing emblems? That was an open item that we were waiting for, you know, the goat image.
Yeah, I sent you the price, and they said that if it was ordered by the scouts, there was some pretty good sized discount, 30% or something like that.
Oh, so if they do the ordering?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's cheap. But I don't have that in my head. I emailed that to you.
So you sent that, you sent that to Matty?
no, to
To
you.
you.
Oh, I got that? All right. I must have missed that. Okay, no, sorry, Tim, I must have missed that.
You want me to send it again?
Yes.
Well, it wouldn't hurt.
That's nice.
They have these pictures in Rhinebeck's boat.
On that discount that the scouts get, was that a notable amount?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So it's worth the logistics if it's a good sum of money, like, I don't know, half price or something like that, to have them do it and then us reimburse them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sand pit development situation. Was there anything noteworthy at the, Rick went to another meeting on that after our gathering on Tuesday, so.
Yeah, that was the first meeting we've had since early December was Tuesday. And the meeting was just to go over the language that Nietzsche has drafted for the various possible options to help the planning board put the language into whatever they end up doing, whether it's a new bylaw, separate bylaw, or a overlay. So it was really just going through that language. I meant to bring, I forgot to bring it. But basically, nothing new. The next step is the planning board's going to have it, so at the next planning board meeting, or at the one on the 14th, they'll be going through that language for that, that's been submitted by Nietzsche. There's probably about a dozen potential uses in broad categories, including, you know, nursing home / assisted living kind of thing. But so basically what they've done is, here's a list of potential uses that could be allowed, and then that's part of the language that would go into the bylaw. And then the other part of it is what's the word I'm looking for? Various restrictions that might be involved with any of them, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Was there any discussion of how these things would facilitate positive financial ramifications for the town?
No. It's basically a list of, here's the potential things that could be allowed there within the existing restrictions that exist for that land.
Whose job is that, the planning board then?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said, I want to say off the top of my head, their next meeting is either early or mid-February, that they're going to be, it's not their next meeting, they're going to take this up. It's 2 meetings from now, they'll be going through that language, and that'll be the introduction to the rest of the planning board. The only person from the planning board that's on the group that's working with Nietzsche is Christopher Monroe. So,
All right. Related to that, I finally did, I had sent, let's see, a little history. We had talked about that CCRC, continuing care, retirement community, et cetera, which we did have one model. I was able to get in a roundabout way what Duxbury was gathering for financial benefit to the town. So they were getting somewhere around $500,000 to $600,000 in tax revenue in 2016. And so that would certainly have escalated significantly between 16 and current. And we wouldn't be too far if we did something similar to what was down there. Then a similar establishment up here would be similar. And per what we had talked about, there's just a lot of pluses for that. It's an independent thing, minimal traffic impact. Most of the people at those things don't have vehicles. They're self-sustained relative to medical and security, et cetera, as well as just lots and lots of employment opportunity. There's a lot of people that work at those facilities over a very broad genre, the medical, physical people. just all
Food
kinds of-
services, I mean, laundry,
Food
everything.
service.
There's- yeah.
So there's a lot of, anyway, but I did finally get a response from Chris about 2 weeks ago. The response was they have incorporated the feedback from the Open Space Committee to the consultants and will make it part of the record for the planning board. While I can't speak for the entire board, short-term financial planning, financial, a couple of extra words there, is certainly a major driver for the planning board, but not the only driver. We look at many issues related to the community, building and long-term economics, what will make Hubbardston a compelling place to work and live for the next 20 years. So that's essentially the end of the comment. So it is part of the record, and maybe per what Rick said, this will be coming up, because certainly anything that's planned ought to have some sort of a financial analysis relative to how it's going to benefit the town and become a burden. We can't tolerate much of a burden. So at any rate, so we did get an update on that.
When we were talking about it the other day, I misstated what I said there was, nursing home and that kind of facility would be restricted. That was the wrong word. Special permit would be. So it's not. There wouldn't be any restrictions. There would just be a special permit issued for a facility like that.
Okay.
And there were a number of the options that that would require a special permit for whatever. I don't know what, they didn't state what the reason was.
Pay contract, I haven't heard anything on that. I did get an email from Heather Monroe from the select board asking if we had any response on that. And I responded back, no, we haven't got a response on that. And that was still the way it stands. So she at least asked about it. I said, no, we don't have a response, but then there's no other information forthcoming on that. And I guess relative to some of the turbulence with Nate leaving and stuff like that, we're still in a recovery mode, trying to get back into a more organized fashion here.
You think we ought to draft one on our own?
What was that?
You think we ought to draft an RFP on our own? And then
And
submit
then
it
present it to them and see if,
and present it to the select board and see if, or whoever.
So it's ready to go
I
in
mean,
the spring.
the last contract that was sent out for bid, Mark wrote it, basically.
Okay.
It
So
wasn't.
he wrote the RFQ?
Yeah. And that's, that's not rocket science, but, you know, we had talked about various
Well,
things. We
I
thought-
think that probably would be a very
Helpful.
proactive way to address this, because it would get our interest in there, and maybe in an ideal fashion from our perspective. And given if they don't have much of anything else, they might lean towards what we just provide them, because then they don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And given, you know, the turbulence that you mentioned, I'm guessing it's not real high on their list.
Yeah.
And come
Yeah.
springtime,
Yeah,
you know, we may want to ask,
yeah.
If I'm Lance Lane, I'm wondering, how come nobody
Yeah.
got back to me?
You want to take a crack at that?
I can, sure.
Yeah,
I'll just use the previous one as a,
yeah.
template,
Then we can
yeah.
get some of the stuff in there relative to fertilizing, the length of the contract, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
One more thing on your to-do list.
Great idea.
Look, I might be able to help you with that. I've done RFPs before, and you have too.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Dynamic duo.
All right. Off-highway recreational vehicle update. We've got two groups on that. The public outreach group, Steph was sort of pushing that one forward, and they did have one meeting in...
Yeah, we had one meeting and we haven't had another one, but no updates on it since the last meeting.
But we will have one soon.
Well, now that the holidays are behind
That's
us. Yeah.
The deterrence team, of which at this point, that's Tim and I, we did have a meeting on Tuesday after the land group thing, and that was productive. Tim and I talked about, first of all, just how to prioritize things, and there's different ways to look at it, how we're gonna go after trying to and do some things from a deterrence viewpoint. In some places, there's a lot of human interference or aggravation, I guess is a good way to do it. I don't know, Crossroad would be a good one for that. I mean, Steph and I personally had one of the people that live up there come up and was really upset. You know, she moved to Hubbardston for peace and quiet, and you're driving down that road, you think you're gonna have peace and quiet, and then she says, we got all this four-wheeler noise on a regular basis, and it's extremely annoying and sort of ruined their investment. I mean, they made a huge commitment and investment to move, and so you get that kind of an issue. Then in some places, maybe like Copper Mine, that's maybe not something we want to have happening over there, but the activity is on what used to be an old road, so they're not really destroying anything. And so that would be something that we don't want to necessarily condone, because it can just spread from that area to another area, but that wouldn't be one of the priority areas we would necessarily go after. Then there are real high priority areas like Malone Road, that there could be potential damage to that, I don't know, $70,000 trail system we just put in over there and stuff. So we're gonna, I'll paraphrase, you can correct me, Tim, if I misstate here. So we're gonna take all the trails, identify areas where there is activity, whether it's something that's really critical at this stage or not. But I just identify it on a trail-by-trail basis where there's activity going on. And in some places, it's much more blatant than others. The down off of Canesto Brook and at the end of Mill Pond, there's actually, they're cutting trees and blazing marks on trails and stuff like that to identify the trail. So at any rate, so we'll describe that on each one, and then we'll come up with a plan on how to address that, and maybe in a timely manner as well as a cost manner. Cost-wise, the simplest thing is boulders, but good-sized boulders and Tim had a comment on it. We've done some boulders before, but that they ought to be partially buried, which we didn't do that, because if they're partially buried, like 1/3 of them is in the ground, it's a lot more difficult for them to like hook up a vehicle and put a strap around it and tow it out of there. Right, that's the essence on that.
Cheshire Cat.
The Malone Road will definitely be one of the ones at the top of the list. Tim has done some research on, go ahead, why don't you describe, Tim, what you've got for research on that, so.
Well, the options that we've been looking at are some sort of thing like a highway guide rail. Guide rails are supposed to keep vehicles on the road, right? And at the extreme upper end, there's this thing called a Merritt Parkway style guide rail. It's similar to what you see if you go up the auto road at Mount Wachusett. It's a 12 by 12 wooden post with a 4 by 10 wooden rail, about maybe 2 feet high. The wooden rail has a steel backing on it, so you couldn't just take a chainsaw and cut it. But that's very expensive. A step down from that, which one of these landscape contractors says he's done on multiple DCR properties in the state, looks very similar, but doesn't have the steel backing, and it's an 8 by 8 post, so it's a little lighter, but it's still all wood. It kind of blends into the natural environment well, and unless somebody does take a chainsaw to it, you can't get around it or over it with an ATV. And another option would be some sort of steel post filled with concrete set in the ground. They would have to be a little over 3 feet, about 4 feet on center. And I don't remember the price on them. The real expensive, most rugged thing that's designed for highway guide rails is, I think it was $188 a linear foot. It's a little cheaper if you use steel posts instead of the wooden 12 by 12s. The one that doesn't have steel in it, that's just an 8 by 8 wooden post, and the 4 by 10 wooden rail, that was, I think, $50 a linear foot. And then the other, he gave me a price on these pipes, but that was even more. And then the final thing is the use of boulders, which if Bob brings over his tractor, he's got a backhoe, he thinks he knows where he can get some stones.
Around here? Oh, that would be tough. Big ones.
So the out-of-pocket cost for that is pretty small, and we can use our own labor instead of these other options. The contractors have a thing that looks sort of like a well drilling truck that drives the posts into the ground, and to do all of that by hand is very labor intensive. But the
I can do it.
rocks could be 5 feet on center and still be close enough together that they would impede an ATV, but not a wheelchair. And so you don't need quite as many of them as you would the pipes stuck in the ground, and it's probably a lot cheaper than the railing.
And what we discussed at the meeting is the 8 by 8 posts with a 4 by 10 railing is a pretty aesthetic are about as aesthetic as you're gonna get relative to looks and whatnot, and that was pretty reasonable in cost. I forget what.
Yeah, to do a,
That was $50 a linear foot, I think.
yeah, so,
And that was an installed price, so $50 a linear foot for the material and whatnot. And over at Malone, what Tim and I just broached as a potential thing is a combination of boulders and this railing. Maybe the railing in that immediate vicinity of the entrance to the trails and out underneath where the pines are or whatnot. And then maybe some boulders on either end of that, something like that.
What if does North County harvest any wood over in that? Like, what if they use their own wood?
Who, Hubbardson?
North County.
North County.
Oh.
Because they oversee the
Malone.
Malone. I mean, it doesn't
What
have
do you
to be
mean?
in like 1 year.
What do you
but
mean with
couldn't-
their own
Couldn't you
wood?
make your own, use the wood
Lateral
from
wood
the woods
things.
you,
and harvest the wood and
yeah,
One is,
And mill
they'd
still
have
have
to,
to be
they'd have
milled.
to get that treated somewhere. This is,
Oh.
you
Yeah.
want something with a 50-year life or something.
right, if you, there's probably oak there that would last, I don't know, maybe 10 years untreated, but these 4x10 planks or timbers that they use, they're pressure treated, so they last a long time. I don't know about 50, but 35 years, something like that. What I have seen, similar to what you're talking about, is native logs resting on concrete cradles. So the log's only about as big around as a telephone pole, but it's resting on a little concrete saddle or cradle so that it's up high enough off the ground that it will stop a vehicle. Those are more designed for
parking lots.
for parking lots, for bumpers, rather than to stop ATVs. The plank, the 4x10 plank that we're talking about sits a little higher than that would be.
Did you think about using a cable instead of a plank?
Yeah, you could. A contractor's probably not going to want to install that because they don't want to get sued if somebody runs into it and
Well,
gets hurt.
if it's only 2 feet high.
Yeah, but if
They don't see it.
if somebody's operating an ATV and they don't see the cable and they run into it, it'll stop the vehicle and not them.
And they'll go flying over.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
But-
The other thing is that with snowmobiles or ATVs, they can ride up the front of it. And so although it's set at 2 foot, it'll ride up and you go under and your head is
Oh,
with your upper
the cable
body.
will ride up,
Yes,
yeah.
the cable will ride up.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a lot of issues with that approach.
Yeah, it's very tempting.
You're not supposed to laugh when you say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
I'm doing it
Or
for
you-
are
him.
snowmobiles allowed on Malone?
Well, regardless if they're
Yeah,
allowed,
they
we're
are.
trying to
Yeah.
stop people that aren't allowed, and that can
Yeah.
take any number of forms.
Yeah, well, because those are pretty wide too, aren't they? Snowmobiles?
Yeah.
Would they fit through the rock thing?
3 feet.
Yeah.
They're not as wide as an
They're not as
an
wide as
ATV.
an ATV, typically.
Have you estimated the perimeter
Yes.
distance?
Did you, it was, yeah, from, okay, if you picture entering the parking area at Malone, about where the stone wall ends on your right, on the south side, I guess that is, south or west side, there's an agway gate that Lance uses to access the field that's cut for hay every year. And from the end of that agway gate over to the mailbox where we have the maps, and then around in a circle, passing through where the big pine trees are and the blue bench, and then
Beautiful
continuing on
garden.
past where we have some rocks where the butterfly garden is, and then past the where the house used to be, over to where you have stone wall again, on the, as you're entering, it would be on the left side where the big old sugar maples are. It's about 320 feet, something like that. Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's why we don't want to do the railing on the whole thing. We were
Right.
thinking the railing from somewhere around the mailbox, or just to the right of the mailbox, around over to about where the pine trees are.
Yeah, I mean, and to give you a round number, if we did it and did 120 feet of that wooden railing, that would be around 6K. So.
Okay.
But I mean, between North County and maybe us or something, I mean, that's a manageable number. I mean,
Yeah.
the other numbers are 3, 4, 5 times that or something like that.
Yeah. 3 times it. And we might be able to use some of the trail grant money if there's money left over.
Mhm.
That would be helpful.
Reasonable.
Yeah, that would tie in nicely with that, because that's where the grant was awarded,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Right. There's
So maybe a
direct
third, a
connection.
third, a third, Grant, us, and North County. Maybe
Yeah.
That would,
the last I talked to Mark about it, which is before he ordered the signs, but he was guessing there'd be somewhere around $5,000 or so left.
see? Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah.
So we could see something, and then the people might say, oh, these people are serious,
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and what we talked about at the meeting, relative to going to the extent of, steel-backed girders and stuff like that, I mean, my thought was on these 4x10 with 8x8 posts or something, if somebody bothers to take a chainsaw to that, that's a pretty blatant
If they get caught,
act
they're in
of
trouble, but.
property
Yeah.
destruction.
Really?
And
Yeah.
they ought to face some sort of serious penalty if
Yeah.
you can chase that down. And they'd have to be really flagrant and blatantly.
Upset.
to
And what they'll do is they'll find somewhere else where they are deterrents
Yeah.
to,
To get into that area, yeah.
yeah,
But we have to try
There already
something,
is.
though.
yeah.
You have to block off all
Symbolically.
the entrances to get into that area, because there are other ways in there.
Right,
Than that.
Yeah.
And then you typically use the other ways more than probably that.
And one thing we didn't talk about is we got to have
Yeah.
some place where, like, the town could get their mowers through there and stuff, so,
Yeah.
Or emergency
Well,
vehicles.
there's the gate already,
you know, they could use that gate.
but they could also come up from New Templeton Road, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Mark's
Yeah.
That's
house.
true. Are they not doing that yet, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything recently, but I haven't been out there recently.
And then they come up from another spot too.
Yeah, Tim and I
Yeah.
talked about how they come up from down in the valley, down where
The apartments are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and that we could, probably boulders would
Yeah, Boulder would work
would
there.
be the best thing for that, and so we could do something along those lines down there. But at any rate, so the most important thing is we get this ball rolling, we'll have some structure to it, we'll work out on a trail-by-trail basis what the activity is, some proposed solution to it, and what that would cost. So that'll give us, enable us to put together a plan on how to do that portion.
You guys have done your
And then-
homework.
And then in conjunction with the public outreach group, I think we could hopefully have some good success here.
If it pleases the chair, there might be some material available from out at the former airport in New Braintree, where the East Quabbin Land Trust is taking down the hangars out there, and there may be some structural steel, some I-beam and whatnot. Now, some of it's big stuff that others are planning on potentially reusing as bridges and decks and whatnot. However, if there's the appropriate size stuff, with an I-beam, if you weld a foot onto it, you don't have to go very deep, and they're hard to tear out. Make an X on
Well,
it.
those with permission from the state, for example, copper mine, there already is that kind of stuff. We did put some good-sized boulders, maybe we didn't do a good enough job, but they pulled those out of there. They took down the sign that was 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
But something like what you're talking about there would be a deterrent that aesthetics aren't a major concern at that. There's already a steel gate there already anyway.
Right.
So if there are some materials there that are...
I'll keep an eye out for
Yeah.
us. The other thing, for the rail trails, and once again, you can set an X down below and then put a pipe within a pipe, so you can lock it, remove it, so you can get larger vehicles in, and then put it back. But the base of it, so basically you take an X, you put, a couple feet of larger size pipe, you set that in the ground, not quite flush, a little bit above. You put the smaller pipe in the top, 3 foot, 4 foot high, whatever you want, and you have some locking hardware on both pipes so that you can lock them together and secure them. But you can also take them off very readily when you want to have access for whatever reasons, maintenance or events.
Is that what they're using
Yes.
on the rail trail?
Yes,
Okay.
pretty darn effective too.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop the, like the e-bikes from
Yeah.
racing up and down there, or motorcycles, dirt bikes and stuff, but it keeps the ATVs out.
And the cars.
And the cars, because, you could drive, well, we do drive down them with our vehicles when we're doing maintenance.
So have they installed that and they've had good success?
Yes,
I've seen that in a lot of places.
yeah.
On university campuses, they use those.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They use them in cities where, they,
Just out of curiosity, what's the locking device that can't easily be cut with a hacksaw or something?
oh, you just make it a bit heavy enough and make it awkward so you can't get in there with a Sawzall, battery
Oh,
operated
kind of like what's on
Sawzall
the
stuff.
DCR gates.
Out there.
Oh, yes, yes,
The
yes.
lock
They-
is up inside the tube, you
Right,
can't get in there
right.
with...
These
And
aren't
the
quite
wasps
that
will get you
good,
if you try.
but remember, we're trying to keep, when I say honest people honest, that's not quite it, but people that, it's not worth the hassle to try to go around these things.
Yeah.
Going 10 foot up in a
Well-
tree is not a problem for me, so that's no deterrent at all. The height of the tree, unless it's way up there. I mean, I use reverse monkey wrenching techniques against the people that are abusing the trails. I just load them up with logs and brush, and you know what? They get sick of tearing them down. That's it. You just outlast them and you're more persistent. And I get my exercise.
All right.
And some satisfaction.
Oh, wicked satisfaction.
Okay.
So that's the story in that. So what's, we have, the good thing from my perspective is we've been talking about this off-highway vehicle issue for
Years.
years. We're doing something, and I think doing something will have some good success. The last meeting, I think there was, or the meeting before, there was that discussion about a request from this person, Nina Duggan, about the wayward ecologist and doing something. Leanne had sent her an application for using the property, the standard one that the Conservation Commission has. That's what we use when we're doing the ride at Mount Jeff, and other people use that same form. The feedback from Leanne is that she hasn't, that sounded exciting to us because that's along the lines of stuff that we're interested in. But at this point in time, Leanne hasn't had any follow-up from Nina Duggan on that. That's what I've got for old business. The relative to new business, something to put into your Bonnet, I don't know how we're gonna handle it, but at least start thinking about it. We've got a lot of words in our open space plan, and I guess you could call it a plan, but it's really just ideas. You know, a plan, if you're gonna execute something, just like what we were talking about on the deterrence thing, has got to have, okay, what are you gonna do? How much is it gonna cost? When are you gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? Et cetera, et cetera. So we need to take the outline, I guess is what you could call it, that's in our open space plan, all the different ideas, and say, okay, what are we gonna do when? Because if we don't have something like that in place, an actionable plan, then not much will get done. So we don't need volunteers tonight, but we need to have, we've got subgroups of different activities going on here. I think we need a subgroup that's gonna take that great document that we've got, but then turn it into an actionable plan and which things we're gonna do this year, next year, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's it, what I've got for new business. Any other topics that other people have got?
Oh, you
Right.
mentioned the, I'm sorry, you mentioned the hardening of the Scout Trail.
Yes.
Is there any new information about that?
No, there isn't, other than with, and then that'll be a follow-up. I skipped that on my agenda here. There will be follow-up on that. There's residual material there. I haven't, there's a stockpile of material at Malone now. It's back off of the circle, I guess.
It's to the, if you're looking at the center of the butterfly garden, it's off to the right, down in the back.
Yeah.
You got any idea roughly what it is and how much it is?
No, it's, I mean, it's less than 6 feet high and less than 8 feet wide, you know.
So
I thought it was-
sounds like
That
maybe
was
2
a
or 3
mix.
yards.
Yes.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
I thought it was the stuff that was used to surface the trail, the new trail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But they use two
So
different
that's that,
size stones.
that's
don't
that
they?
half-inch minus graded base type material that's there, so.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll follow up relative to money to support that, and I'll make sure that we talk more about that at our next meeting, because we don't want to miss that. That's something, that'll be a really nice addition in that it would give another loop. So you get a really small loop, you get a medium-sized loop, and then somebody wants to take a 2-mile hike, then they can walk all the way out, but then walk all the way back. And the nice part about that Scout loop is it's a loop, so.
Next meeting, do you already have that figured out?
No. But I am thinking spring is going to come sooner than we think, right? If winter's here, can spring be far behind? And we'll have all these things we want to be working on, and one of them is keeping the new trail, you know, getting right on it, which ties in with the hardening of the Scout Trail, and so that'll take several weekends, I would think.
We can't do that during the wet season.
Right, yeah, that's true. And maybe to involve some other volunteers for just, you know, scrub work sort of thing, I mean, right?
Friends of the Open Space Committee.
No enemies, just friends.
All right, relative to the next meeting, the last Thursday in January is the 29th. It's about 3 weeks from now. Does that sound good? Do you want to push that one out to the first Thursday in February? Thoughts?
Are we going to try to stick with Thursdays and,
Thursday seemed to work, well, yes,
okay.
no, they work for us.
Do we have enough actionable kind of items to have another meeting in
In
3
between,
weeks?
yeah.
Or should we go to February?
What, the end of February?
Right, the last Thursday or
Last
whatever,
Thursday in February?
to kind of keep some consistency.
Yeah.
We
Just-
had last year quite a few things that kind of had to get done. You know, they were, outside contracts and procurements and whatnot, but do we have enough issues, but do they need to have a meeting? That's the only comment. And I'm not
Between now and
advocating.
then, right.
Right, within 3 weeks, I guess, is the question.
And when, because several people have other responsibilities, so it's helpful if we can count on, well, typically, open space meets the last Thursday.
Right.
And then other people kind of remember that as they're scheduling
Yes.
things, because we were
Yes.
discussing just last night,
night.
Mhm. Right. Some people have like 4 or 5 meetings, try to, because a lot of people are involved in a lot of things here.
Probably the most time-sensitive thing is the hay
Yeah.
RFP, and maybe the sand pit, if there's something happens at the next planning board meeting that we want to respond to.
But are they like votable items? Like tonight, other than administrative meeting actions, there weren't any votes taken? Or
No,
if they
we're
were-
allocating money, and
Yeah.
doing specific things that would require a vote, no, that's true.
Mhm.
So I think I'm hearing the 29th, is there a 29th or is February what?
No,
Well, the
26th.
last Thursday in February would be the 24th.
Okay.
26th.
20, oh, that's Tuesday. That's my eyeballs.
One
Did you
of
say
you.
26th?
Yes, the 26th, Tim Scott.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. How's? does
It's not
anybody-
terribly far off. you
No,
know.
not really.
26th?
Yep.
All right, the next meeting will
Let's talk
be
about-
February 26th. All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.